We're going to be talking about program orientation, and it is live examples of the webinar from yesterday. So if you were on there yesterday and we were talking about concept, we are going to actually be talking and showing you the screens today. As a reminder, please download the documents from the pod with the files in them. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat pod so that we can answer them during a break. So this is an overview of the online components of Illinois WorkNet's Summer Youth Employment Program. Today, I'm going to be your guide, and as always, I have wonderful help from Chelsea Jones and Lacey Pollock, helping me grab questions and making sure that all the pods are working, and Natasha Telger of Illinois WorkNet will be manning the on-screen guide and helping answer questions that we have arise during the webinar. And we will answer your questions during a break. Today we have lots of information, but don't worry, it's a worry-free zone. We have checklists, we have infographics, we have an online guide, we have a procedures manual with all of the great detailed information that you will need. We have videos to reference, as well as webinars and the recordings of the webinars that we're doing. So let's get started about what this webinar is going to be. We're going to talk about getting set up in Illinois WorkNet. We're going to talk about recruiting employers and youth, how to enroll youth and connect them to employers, and we're going to talk about youth activities while they're learning, while earning, and then the feedback and reports. First and foremost, WorkNet is a very easy tool for summer youth employment. It has this grid that you're seeing. It has a link to the infographic, the procedures manual, and all of the upcoming webinars. And it has the quadrants there with all of the information that you need to see to make sure that your program runs effectively and efficiently. Our infographic is a pictorial representation of the steps that you need to follow as you are trying to work on your summer youth employment program. It tells you step by step where you need to go, and it has the icons so that you know that you're in the right place once you get there. And Chelsea added the URL into the chat pod for the guide for the Summer Youth Employment Program so that you can go there directly if you need to do that. We also have a checklist available, excuse me, and it has a check-off list that you can make sure that you are accomplishing all of the steps required. And as you can tell, there are some things that need to be done simultaneously, but you can be working on both things from one to another. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually get in and get you guys set up. So what we want to do, first and foremost, we want to go to our online guide and start with the Get Started. There you will see checkboxes with links that will take you to the places that you need to go. If you are not already a WorkNet partner, you will need to sign up. And if you are a WorkNet partner, just contact Illinois WorkNet and they will make sure that you are set up appropriately. This is important to make sure that your organization appears on the online application for the youth. Your staff also has to have a WorkNet Workforce Partner account to access participant records. Don't worry though, because if we don't hear from you, Lacey will be getting in touch with you. One of the things that you need to be doing is recruiting youth. And you need to be recruiting work sites. We already have some flyers and some postcards and a web page that you can direct your recruits to. You can personalize this information by moving down on the page, and where it says CBO name or address and phone number, you can put your own information into the flyers and on the postcards, so that we've done the design work for you. We just need you to do the mailing. You can also have, the flyers also have a link to the website where the youth can log in and can find more information and access the application. One of the biggest things about youth today is the eligibility. If the youth are eligible, and this is actually a screen capture from the first page of the application, and Natasha is showing you at the bottom on her screen share where the application actually is on the website, and they need to be able to input their date of birth. They need to select which program that their family is enrolled in, TANF, court-appointed at-risk youth, etc. And then they need to establish whether or not their family meets the financial guidelines. And the last question is, are they a graduate from the Lincoln Challenge Academy? If they are eligible by the answers that they submit, they will be promoted or prompted to move on to the next page, and then they will either be asked to create an Illinois WorkNet account, or they will be taken directly to their Illinois WorkNet account to log in. So on this page, this is the actual application. If the student has an account with Illinois WorkNet, the form will be pre-populated. If they do not have an Illinois WorkNet account, they just need to fill in the form. It's really simple. Typing is probably the biggest challenge that they might have if they don't know where the keys are on the keyboard. You are required to have an eligibility form, an I-9 form, income verification or program verification, an Illinois WorkNet account, and if the youth is under 18, they will need parental consent. The next screen is when they have completed that initial screen, then they will be prompted to fill in their location information, their name, their address, their phone number, and if they do not know their 4-digit zip code, the additional zip code, they can click on this link right here to obtain that extra zip code number. And we do want at least one phone number from them. The items that are noted in red are required information, and the ones in black are optional information. If there are WIA locations and the youth knows what their WIA location is, they will be able to select the location. If not, then the student will select, I do not have an organization, and you can pick the students from the pool. You can review the names of the people that don't have an organization and pull them out of that pool so that they can come into your program if they happened to miss the name of your program or didn't know what it was in the first place. The next slide represents the demographic information of the individual. Again, the red items are required. The black items are optional. So we want to make sure that they are filling in all of this information. And last but not least, if the youth is under 18, there will be contact information required by the parent or legal guardian, and it is name, address, and their phone number with an email address, and they need to confirm their email address as well. Once the youth has completed the application, they will get the form, this image that says, thank you for participating in the application. Would you like to submit your application? Once they submit their application, they will get the next box there that shows that the form can be printed. So once the youth completes their online application, they need to print out the form for their signature, and if the youth forgets, the form will be available under the applicant's name. The form will show up this way on the screen, and will show up this way in print so that they can obtain the signature. You will also need a signature of the legal guardian as well. And so if we have questions now for that section of the presentation, let's take a look and see. So everyone that applies or is hired needs to complete the youth app. That is correct. And can active WIA youth clients also be enrolled in Summer Youth Employment Program? And I believe that answer is yes as well. And okay, so enrolling youth and connecting employers. That is the second block on our grid, and there is an additional area here that you can see on Natasha's screen share below that shows all sorts of information that you need to be able to access, as well as the resources and links that will help you make sure that that is done accurately and appropriately. The youth participants will, once you get the youth into the customer groups, you can follow along with these tabs and make sure that everything goes smooth as silk, because you go from youth participants to employers to contacts to the work sites, payroll upload, and then reports. So this is, yes ma'am.
I just wanted to throw one thing in there just as a point of clarification. When your youth complete the application, they will automatically be added to this list. You don't have to do anything special to add them to your customer group or your participant list. They will automatically be added when they complete the application. But what you do want to make sure is that in your whole Getting Started section is that anyone who needs to have access to this area, whether it's maybe the person is going to be helping them with completing the work readiness activities, or they're going to be setting up work sites, or they're going to be uploading payroll, or they're going to be completing reports, we need to have you send the list of people who need to have access to this information to info@illinoisworknet.com. And that information is available in the Get Started section.
Great. Great. Thanks for that addition, Natasha. The next slide talks about youth participant details, and this is where you will be establishing your eligibility and enrollment for the youth. And you can filter your applicants based on whether they're enrolled. They would show at the top of the page. And then you as the provider, as the grantee, determine what the youth status actually is. Are they enrolled? Are they pending? Are they a youth that decided not to participate? You want to enroll the person, but you don't have enough spots. If you only have one type of program, you will only have one type of information from which to select. And then you also want to make sure that you're selecting the employer and the work site. And it's very important that you reflect whether or not the participant is a full-time or part-time employee, because your reports will reflect planned openings versus actual and how you are faring against your plan. We do have a question about, do Summer Youth Employment Program supervisory staff apply online as well? And if they are an Illinois WorkNet, if they are one of your employees, they need to have a workforce professional application. We'll get to that in just a moment. If they're youth and they're going to be a youth supervisor, then yes, they will need to apply just as every other youth need to apply. So the next phase on our journey through the grid is the work experience part of the program. And this offers you many opportunities to show what is going to happen with the work experience. Part of this is making sure that you're setting up the work sites properly. And to enter a work site, you will first search for the employer. If they do not already appear on the list, then you would add them by city and zip, making sure that the information is properly input. So you want to make sure that you're using the tool here on the website to set up your employers, set up your contacts, and set up the work sites. The employers will be under the Contacts tab. They will have employees. These are the site supervisors, and they will need to be entered. And I'm not sure if that's answering the question that we had just a moment ago, but this is where you would input that information. If they are some of your staff and need to have access to reports, et cetera, and the customer groups, they will need to be an Illinois WorkNet professional. All worksite employees, all the supervisors, will need to have a background check. Because the youth will be placed at work sites, an employer can have multiple work sites. We just need each of the detail addresses. The grantee may actually end up being a work site. As I said just a moment ago, worksite supervisors are required to have background checks, and Family Watchdog is the preferred check of choice. The reporting needs to indicate that the background check has been completed and its date. Supervisors could be youth in the program, but they will also need to have a background check. Nothing needs to be uploaded, but you do have to have the check and know that it's in the files so that it can be reviewed upon an audit. As always, maintain any of those records within your files along with all of the worksite agreements. So let's take a moment now to check to see if there's any more questions that we have. We do have a question, is there a deadline for all of the Illinois WorkNet data entry? There were a couple of forms that needed to be submitted yesterday that Tammy requested. Otherwise, we just need to get all of that information in as soon as possible. Pam is asking, can current WIA youth participate in the SYEP program at the same work site they're currently working at through WIA? They cannot be getting paid out of both programs, but they can work at the same program. Eliza asks, what if you are the work site, the employer, the supervisor, the workforce professional, the work site, everything? How does that agreement work? I believe it works the way as any of the agreements would work. You would have the work site agreement in place, as well as your information uploaded into the system as everybody else would need to have. All right, so let's move along. We're going to be talking now about youth earning while learning. We have a number of activities that are available in the work readiness section of the website, and Natasha is sharing on the screen right now the work readiness side of our activities. We do have a violence prevention awareness webinar that is required that will be taking place July 30th. It will be recorded. All youth are required to either participate at that time or to watch it and note with the case managers that it has taken place. Activities, the recommended approach is 15 hours of work readiness activities over the 5 to 6 week time period. Required items are noted with a double asterisk, but only 10% of the time is allocated or is to be allocated for work readiness activities. Earning while learning activities, we have a tab in the Summer Youth website which will show you a list of items that can be checked off as the youth are completing them. There are skills assessments and other activities available. We do have a results tab that will show you what has taken place for the youth or what the youth has accomplished. The one requirement that it must be met is that the post-assessment score must be 70% or better, and there must be at least one worksite evaluation completed on each of the youth. There is a screen that will show you the results so that you can see what the pre-assessment test score was, what the post-assessment test score was, and then the activities that the youth has completed. So this is a very nice tool that's available for you so that you can have it for the youth files as well. Let's check on questions now. Michelle clarified about data entry for placing the youth and worksite information. As soon as we have everything up and running and you have had the time to enter it, you want to make sure that eligibility is managed first and foremost, and then you want to try to get the data entered as soon as possible so that everything is ready for when we need to move forward with the next step. And I don't see any other questions right now on that section, so we're going to move on to forms and payroll. Excuse me. The forms is at the bottom of our grid, and it has a set of links available to you that have fiscal documents as well as program-related documents. And all of those are links to an external page so that you can download the documents if you need to use them. Additionally, we have a payroll section on our grid. There is a payroll webinar taking place on July 9th and 11th with a full demonstration of the payroll upload. And we will have all of those things working and in place and ready to show you how to accomplish that on the 9th. Timesheets are available in the payroll section as well. These timesheets are Excel spreadsheets. They are able to be manipulated with the date so that you can have the current pay period related to your employer site so that the time can match what they have as their time frame. And with the forms and payrolls, you will have a screen where you can upload the file through the tool. You can upload the CSV file will show and you will verify, but before you upload, double check that the timesheets match the data that you've entered into the CSV file. Verify everything. Try not to have mistakes, but if you do, we can fix them. We will do a demonstration on the 9th, and DCEO will be verifying and monitoring and making sure that everything matches. Worksite evaluations need to take place, one for each youth. There is a tool that is currently available. All you have to do as the grantee is send an invitation to the employer. The employer will open the email, click on the link, complete the evaluation, submit the evaluation, and then that worksite evaluation will be added to the youth's record. The youth and the case manager will be able to view the evaluation so that they can make a plan on maybe making some corrections. And there is a video on how to do that. With the reports, we have a whole section on reports, and this screen was much longer than I could capture for the screenshot. So if Natasha can go to the Run Reports section, you can watch it in the screen share and see how many reports are available for you to use. Just loads of them. All right. And last but not least, at the end of the program, we want to make sure that everybody had a good experience. So we will be sending out surveys to both the employers and to the youth. And as you are going through these next few weeks, we would like for you to try to obtain and record success stories so that we can share those out for future marketing purposes. It's always great to hear a good success story, and it always makes a good feature to share on social media and in other marketing materials. So from today's webinar, we have these points to remember. We have multiple resources available. There is a checklist. We have an infographic. We have a procedures manual. We have our online guide that we've been showing you from Natasha's screen. We have videos available. We have webinars that have been recorded, and we will be hosting technical assistance webinars in the very near future. So all of this information is available for you for your reference so that we can help you make this program as successful as possible. Coming up on July 9th and 11th, we have payroll upload and reporting. On July 30th, we will have 2 sessions on violence prevention. It is July 30th for violence in the schools, and at 10 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. we will have webinars for violence in the workplace. During the course of the month, we will be having some soft skills webinars that will be recorded so that you can either attend live or share them as an activity with your youth. And our technical assistance webinars will be taking place on July 11th, the 16th, the 23rd, and July 31st. So let's take a look and see if we have any other questions that we need to answer. What's the penalty if the youth doesn't meet the post-assessment 70% threshold? We will need to ask this from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity to make sure that we know what that answer is. But just as a note, the youth can take the post-assessment test more than once. So if they realize that they made a mistake on the test, have them take it again, and maybe that will put them over that 70% threshold. All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. If you do have some, we will be here for you for another few minutes. If you need to see anything, please ask us in the chat pod. And we will be posting all of the questions from yesterday's webinars as well as today's webinars on our FAQ section. Natasha, would you like to show them the FAQ page on the online guide? It's found in the lower right-hand corner of the quadrant. And as we are putting together the questions, we will fill them in there for you so that we can have the question and the answer by topic for you. And Corey just asked, is there a link I can visit to watch yesterday's webinar? Has that been posted? It looks like Natasha's typing. I believe she's probably going to post a link.
I'll tell you, and I'll type it. We'll be
Okay.
posting them on the online guide page. So right up here next to these, we'll have another area that links to our archived webinars, the playlist of the archived webinars.
And Lacey just posted that she is uploading it to YouTube now. All right. Any other last-minute questions? Oh, Jeannie just said that the application will be available this week. We must have missed that question. Sorry for missing that. And Chelsea just posted the link for the guide again. It is illinoisworknet.com/SYEP guide. And again, if you need to access, have your youth access the application online, it is illinoisworknet.com/summer2013. All right. So if we don't have any other questions from the, will both webinars be posted today? Do you mean yesterday's and today's, Maggie? Okay. Yes, we will be posting today's webinar as well. All right. Well, I thank everybody for their time and attention, and I want to thank Natasha and Chelsea and Lacey for their assistance, and Jeannie for her good answers on some of the questions. We will be back next week on Tuesday the 9th with our payroll webinar. So watch for that on the calendar. Natasha, do you want to point to that real quick on the website? The dates on the calendar will be available for you to register for those webinars. All the red dates have links in there for you to register. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and a wonderful and safe 4th of July. Thanks again for joining us today. Bye-bye.